You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, how much patience do you have left for foolish people? Also, the hazards of the community chat board, and a little dose of smug. I can see the cat playing behind you. He looks happy.
He is happy. He's like the only thing in this house that's happy right now.
Oh, what else is going on that's not happy?
I'm just winter weary, like all the time. And I know it's like lack of sun, so I've been taking handfuls of vitamin D3, and it's not cheering me up.
You need to be not afraid of getting on planes. That's what you need. Then
I know. I need to go somewhere where there's sunshine. Yeah, we went to town this morning to go to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
That's so rural. We went to town. But yes, we made the hour-long drive to and from, went to the grocery store, and there's this one area that's just like a sea of solid gold in the summer because of these flowers that I don't know what they are, but it's really beautiful on either side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also full of cows. Well, you can't even tell that there was a fence there. That's how flooded it is.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's just floods everywhere. People keep putting up pictures of cars floating upside down. And I'm like, why would you drive your car into a flood?
Well, maybe they didn't. Maybe the water came for the car. Maybe they had left for higher ground and left their car, and then the car was swept away.
Not on these roads.
No?
Not on these dirt roads, no.
Oh.
But it's just dumb, and it just has me in a bad mood. I'm over dumb people driving through floods and flipping upside down.
Airplane.
It's soon, in May. And if there's snow on your side of the world when I get there in May,
yeah,
I'm turning around and saying, I'll just sit here and go back with you, pilot, sir.
Yeah, I understand the need for sunshine. I do. I don't argue. I don't disagree. The sunshine thing is people underestimate.
They really do.
Yeah. And
I watched a comedy last night and I didn't laugh once.
Ooh.
So you know that's bad.
That's bad.
Because I'm an out loud TV laugher. Which drives my husband nuts.
I am not. I finally found one scene in an old TV series that I'm finally watching for the first time that actually made me laugh so hard that the spousal unit came in and asked what was I laughing? Was I all right? And
Frankie gives me those shut up looks.
Oh.
You know, like when you're sitting in a movie theater.
Yes.
I get those when I'm laughing at TV. But yeah, nothing's funny right now.
When you deal with people who are clearly not the brightest bulbs in the chandelier, I try to imagine that there's something they're really good at which I suck. Like, I try to think to myself.
Like what? Making bad choices? You're really, really good at making bad choices.
What I mean is, it's my effort at being charitable. It doesn't go so well necessarily, but if someone is just plainly manifestly a dull potato, I just think to myself, well, maybe they're really good at skiing or something. And then
you're way nicer than me.
I try to imagine that there's some area in which they have tremendous facility. And the problem is that all the areas that I imagine they might have tremendous facility are of no use or interest to me whatsoever. So this is my inner dialogue. Someone will do something really stupid, and it's clear that they don't even know that it's really stupid. And I'll think, well, maybe they're really excellent at painting show cars. And then I think to myself, well, what the F do I care if they're really good at painting? And so I keep trying to make myself more charitable, and I'm failing because none of the things I imagine they're really good at are things I care about. And the things I care about, they're hopeless failures. So
You're putting in way too much effort. Really, we've lived long enough that we could just say, get off my lawn.
It's
seriously
very difficult.
It always goes back to get off my lawn.
It's very difficult. Have I mentioned to you? I
no longer look for the best.
Have I mentioned to you the people who live near us who live in a state of chronic helplessness?
Yes.
And how annoying they are?
Yeah.
and
What
how
they do now?
I don't want to do anything else for them. Well, I don't even. What was the last thing I told you about where they wanted something absurd that nobody could possibly expect anybody to do for them? I mean, they want really crazy stuff like, oh, my kid broke his arm and is going to have reconstructive surgery. And you think, oh, that's terrible. And I need someone to pick up 10 pairs of sneakers that close with Velcro. And then you think, what?
10 pairs of sneakers.
I'm making that one up, but you get the idea,
Yes, I
right?
get it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was like,
yes,
what?
yes.
Yeah, so this kind of stuff keeps happening where they'll name something that's truly, oh, really, I'd love to support you with that. And then they'll say what they want, and you just go, what?
May I have one of your kidneys, please?
Yes, it's like that. I think the best example is the Velcro closing. You're like, oh, their kid's in surgery, and that's really terrible. And maybe they need a meal, but instead they're asking for stuff that's just. And then here's the other thing. There's a famous talk show host. I will not name his name, but when he was younger and less famous, he used to screw with the Larry King Show. Do you remember the Larry King Show?
Yes, I do.
Coast to coast, he was a radio host before he was a TV personality.
Yes.
And he started in Florida, where this other talk show host lived at the time. And this other talk show host was super smart and had a mean streak and really disliked Larry King for his mediocrity. He started to screw with the Larry King Show once it went national. And one of the things that he would do is he would call up and he would say, hey, Larry, love your show, man. Love your show. Here in the mountains of Montana, we're getting this really severe hail and thunder. And I just wonder if any of your other listeners are having bad weather. Well, this is a recipe for a national talk show host to get nothing but 24 lines of weather calls for a solid 2 hours. And you just knew that the minute you did this, it would be nothing but, hi, Larry,
Yep.
I live in Vermont, and I just want to tell your caller that we have beautiful, clear, starry night skies here. This would go on, and you knew the minute he did this, when he would get through,
Disaster.
it was a disaster for the show. It's a total disaster. So how does this
awesome.
figure into the people who are so he there was a reason I mentioned this.
I don't know, but I'm interested, so keep going.
Oh, no, I know what it was. So these same people who I pray to every deity, like I pray to the God Ganesh and Jesus and the Easter Bunny and any other deity that gets prayed to. I hope none of them listen to this podcast because
I'm sure the Easter Bunny does, but keep going.
there's a chat group for the community, right? The whole community, all the people who might be bringing you a meal or whatever. This could you bring my son 12 pairs of shoes that close with Velcro size 9, and they're always very particular. It doesn't like green, it's always something like that, right? Please bring us a meal every night for a month, and please nothing with a vegetable, like that kind of thing, right? And
Yeah.
this person just reached out to the community, and it's like the Larry King Show. I need a good mechanic. Well, every single person in the community has a mechanic. And every single person, of course, you think your mechanic is good, or why would you go to them? So for the last, it's like the freaking Larry King Show. Every time I look at my computer and my email, it's 57 messages of people recommending their mechanics on the bulletin board. That's all it is now.
Up here, it's how are the roads? People from Phoenix do not know how to look at the ADOT, which is the Arizona Department of Transportation map, see where all the red is, which means don't freaking drive up the mountain.
Right.
And so now people just spam them, and they have like the worst responses to how are the roads, pictures of the road with little talk bubbles that say, I don't feel so well today. I think I might vomit. No one ever says, the roads are really crappy. The highway is closed. I mean, it takes longer, I think, to put that inquiry up onto Facebook or onto the community boards than to just look it up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So you have a person who can provide 12 pairs of sneakers, size 9, not green. I mean, whatever
Not
it
green.
is, not green. So it's now day
Right.
3 of people recommending their mechanics and then going on about their whole story about why they decided their mechanic was great. And then all the background information on everything that's ever gone wrong with their car. And I'm just not even looking at this bulletin board until this all goes away because I literally think that I must have 85 messages in my inbox that are nothing. And I finally said to the spousal unit this morning, I said, well, if I do nothing else before I die, I will not be mentioning our mechanic on the chat feed. I will not put it up there.
I just want to know, how does it feel to be the smartest person on your community bulletin board?
Well, here's the weird part. I know for a fact that I'm way down the intellectual scale from several people who are on that community bulletin board. But I don't understand how these people... I just don't understand why it's like, do you remember Charlie Brown and Lucy on the football? How she always swears she's not going to move the football and he goes to kick the football and she moves it every time because that's what Lucy does, because that's just who she is. I've finally, the nicest person I know 3 people who are purely nice, 3 in this whole world. 2 of them are in the Bay Area. 1 of them is here. And I quietly mentioned that I was tired of being asked for 9 pairs of sneakers in a particular size that close with Velcro, not green. And she quietly said to me very nicely and kindly, because she is one of the 3 true nice people of the world, she said, I'm a little less patient perhaps than I once was. I just fell over.
I can't even look at the Nextdoor app anymore.
Oh.
I do, unless I have lost one of my animals. The Nextdoor app is just like, there may as well be a great big red X over it, because I can't tell you. I don't think I've looked at it since we found Eve's blind cat. That was out.
What's on your Nextdoor app? Because I know that in some big cities, the Nextdoor app is like, they should just call it Karen from Nextdoor.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's exact. Or where's a mechanic? Or who can come plow out my driveway? These are people that don't know how to Google.
Well, no, who can come out to plow out that's legit, because you need someone who can physically get to where you are, right?
Well, there's people up here right and left.
Oh.
I mean, the next neighborhood over,
yeah,
which isn't close, but it's actually a neighborhood.
Okay.
As opposed to where we are.
In the middle of nowhere.
A neighborhood.
Right.
But at least I have a husband who knows how to tie a railroad tie to the back of our truck.
Go ahead, be smug. Just go ahead and be smug. Why don't you?
I'm just saying, if you can't live out here, go move somewhere in a city where they have city snowplows, they have city water trucks, or they have. I mean, I'm just tired of people moving out here and not being prepared.
Oh, listen to you.
I told you I'm
listen to you. Listen to you with your journeyman carpenter contractor husband who can take 5 toothpicks and build you a whatever. I don't know master from. I don't know what they are. I don't have one.
Journeyman in this house.
Okay.
This is a
master is better. Trump's journeyman
and a supervisor.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm sorry, Frankie. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. But okay, so let's just say the emperor of carpentry, the emperor of carpentry and contracting. Lives, because you're the empress, we know, lives in your house with you. So you're just smug as all get out. And sanctimonious about it. You're not charitable at all. If you moved out there without your emperor of all things construction, you might also be posting on Karen from Nextdoor saying, I need somebody with a big plow on
I would go buy me one.
No, you wouldn't.
I would buy me, not an emperor, more like a knave.
Oh, I thought you meant a snowplow.
No.
You want to buy a guy.
Boy to do all that
crap. You want to buy a man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Maybe not necessarily an old man.
Oh, well, you already took care of that too, you smug little.
Yeah, I've got that covered as well.
All right, well, we'll just call this the Smug Podcast installment.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, good
Get
for you.
porn into the title, because people really.
Can we say marry a porn star husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband will love that.
I somehow don't think he would be very comfortable in that role. No. wouldn't go for that at all. Assuming you've come this far because you enjoy the podcast, may we recommend my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air. It's available at your neighborhood bookstore or on Amazon. And if you're feeling especially generous, please leave the podcast a good review. Thanks.